Number 10, Anohi Mita Hana no Namae o Bokutachi wa Mada Shiranai, or Anohana for short, translated as Anohana, the flower we saw that day. This anime series is part of the I'm going to rip my eyes out from crying anime starter pack. The series centers around Jinta Yadomi and his group of childhood friends who have become separated after a tragic accident drifted them apart. Now in their high school years, a sudden surprise forces each of them to confront their guilt over what happened that day and come to terms with the ghosts of their past. This series is categorized as drama, slice of life, and supernatural. A very heart-wrenching story that may even put you to tears at times, if you're the type of person to let your emotions get the better of you. I would give this a higher ranking in this list, but I realized that this is not for everyone. Number 9, Angel Beats, aired in 2010, and at its time, I would say this was the anime of the year. For its time, the anime was really well drawn with very exquisite animation that can pass off as something made today. This show is way well ahead of its time. My only complaint is that it was just too short, and I wish they would have made it a 2-core 24-episode series. The story is about a boy named Otonashi Yuzuru, who wakes up to only find out that he is dead. A girlfriend Ralph named Yuri explains they are in the afterlife. Otonashi realizes the only thing he remembers about himself is his name. Yuri tells him that she leaves the Shindai Sekai Sensen, or afterlife battlefront, and wages war against a girl named Tachibana Kanade, or Tenshi, translated as Angel. Unable to believe Yuri's claim that Kanade is evil, Otonashi attempts to speak to her, but the encounter doesn't go as he intended. Afterwards, Otonashi decides to join the SSS and battle Kanade, but he finds himself oddly drawn to her. While trying to regain his memories and understand Kanade, he gradually unravels the mysteries of the afterlife. This is yet another heart-wrenching story that really captivates the soul and makes us question the life we take for granted. I would say it has a lot of feels, but I hate it when people say that shit. So I'm just gonna say, just prepare yourself. Number 8, Toradora is another romance slice of life anime, one that I consider a must-watch. Toradora is by a high schooler named Ryuji Takasu, who despite his gentle personality has people thinking he is an intimidating delinquent due to how his eyes look. Class rearrangements on his second high school year put him together with his best friend Yusaku Kitamura and his hidden crush Minori Kushieda. Along with these two comes Kushieta's best friend Taiga Isaka. Her delicate and petite appearance contrasts with her brutal personality, earning her the nickname the Palm Top Tiger. Taiga is secretly in love with Kitamura and agrees to help Ryuji with his love interest as long as he helps her get closer to hers. But things don't always go how they wanted. I consider this series a classic. It has an amazing story and very likable characters that make for an amazing watch. Because the story is so good, there is no replay value for this series, so be sure to savor it while it lasts. Number 7 is none other than Geass, Hangyaku no Lelouch, or Lelouch of the Rebellion. The plot centers around Lelouch, an exiled imperial prince of Britannia, the main character of the series, who is now posing as a student. He finds himself in the heart of an ongoing conflict for the island nation of what was once Japan, now called Area 11, after the Holy Empire of Britannia took over it. The Japanese, now labeled as 11, are stripped of their identity and rights and live a harsh life, barely scraping by while Britannians live a comfortable life within their settlement. Some of them have formed a resistance to take back Japan's independence, in which Lelouch, through a series of events, somehow became involved. Through a chance meeting with a mysterious girl named C2, Lelouch gains his Geass, the power of kings. This power grants him the power of absolute obedience, allowing him to force a person to do whatever he wishes upon eye contact without question. Now with the power of absolute dominance over any person, Lelouch may finally realize his goal of bringing down Britannia from within. This series is filled with action, mechs, drama, and suspense that leaves you wanting more of each episode. Never was there a dull moment, as our main protagonist and anti-hero, Lelouch, always somehow manages to do the impossible in every scenario. There is no better entertainment than watching him do the unthinkable. An absolute must-watch for just about anybody who is anybody. Anime fans or not, you will love this show. I can almost guarantee it. Almost. Number 6, Tengen Toppa, Gurren Lagann. In a faraway future, mankind lives underground in huge caves, unknowing of a world above with a sky and stars. In the small village of Geass, Simon, a shy boy who works as a digger, discovers a strange glowing object during excavation. The surprising Kamina, a young man with a pair of raptor sunglasses and the passion of a fiery sun, befriends Simon and forms a small band of brothers, the Gurren Brigade, to escape the village and break through the ceiling of the cave to reach the surface, which few believe exists. The village elder won't hear of such foolishness and punishes the brigade. However, when disaster strikes from the world above and the entire village is in jeopardy, it's up to Simon, Kamina, and a girl with a big gun named Yoko, and a small yet sturdy robot Lagann to save the day. The new friends journey to the world above and find that the surface is a harsh battlefield, and it's up to them to fight back against the rampaging beastmen to turn the tide in the humans' favor. Pierce the heavens, Gurren Lagann. Take everything you know about all that is manly and extreme, everything that is exaggerated to the very maximum, and every epic moment you've seen, whether it be an action-packed blockbuster cliche in a movie or an FPS video game, every clusterfuck of bullshit action you've ever seen in your life, and combine it into one show. It still will not be as epic as Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. Number 5, Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, is centered around piano prodigy Arima Kosei, who dominated the competition and all child musicians knew his name. But after his mother, who was also his instructor, passed away, he had a mental breakdown while performing at a recital that resulted in him no longer being able to hear the sound of his piano, even though his hearing was perfectly fine. Even 2 years later, Kosei hasn't touched the piano and views the world in monotone without any flair or color. He was content at living out his life with his good friends Tsubaki and Watari until one day a girl changed everything. Miyazono Kaori is a pretty, free-spirited violinist whose playing style reflects her personality. Kaori helps Kosei return to the music world and show that should be free and mold-breaking, unlike the structured and rigid style Kosei was used to. A very compelling drama and romance anime with plenty of astounding classical music that really sets itself apart from anime relating to music, as it is one of the few that incorporates a serious and heartfelt tone into it. You are going to hate me after watching it, but you won't hate the show, I assure you that. Number 4, One Punch Man. Needless to say, it is without a doubt the #1 anime series of fall 2015. Unless you're Japanese, in which case the best ranking anime for the season would be Gochimon wa Usagi desu ka? It happens. Anyways, in this new action comedy, everything about a young man named Saitama screams average. From his lifeless expression, to his bald head, to his unimpressive physique. However, this average looking fellow doesn't have an average problem. He's actually a superhero that's looking for tough opponents. The problem is, every time he finds a promising candidate, he beats them with one punch. Literally. Can Saitama finally find an evil villain strong enough to challenge him? Follow Saitama as he searches for new villains to challenge. A hilarious action comedy that really keeps you laughing with every episode, as it is just plain out stupid how strong Saitama is. You just got to watch it. There is a lot of hype for this series as of recently, with fairly positive responses. The only reason I can think of for anyone not to like the show is if they take everything too seriously, in which case, yeah, don't watch the show. Number 3, Shokugeki no Souma, Food Wars. Ever since he was a kid, 15-year-old Soma Yukihira has helped his father by working as the sous chef in the restaurant his father runs and owns. Throughout the years, Soma developed a passion for entertaining his customers with his creative, skilled, and daring culinary creations. His dream is to someday own his family's restaurant as its head chef. Yet, when his father suddenly decides to close the restaurant to test his cooking abilities in restaurants around the world, he sends Soma to Totsuki Culinary Academy, an elite cooking school where only 10% of the students graduate. The institution is famous for its shokugeki, or food wars, where students face off in intense, high-stakes cooking showdowns. As Soma and his new schoolmates struggle to survive the extreme lifestyle of Totsuki, more and greater challenges await him, putting his years of learning under his father to the test. This is another series where you watch it because you want to watch a main character be completely amazing at what he does, and best everyone he faces. This is one of the few anime that you'll find that's mainly about cooking and food, which makes Shokugeki no Soma even more interesting in that they make cooking look epic, which I did not think was possible. Yes, it is a little ecchi when the characters react rather sexually aroused when they eat almost anything, but it does not really detract from the show's enjoyment, and is seen more as amusing rather than fan service. I personally don't prefer ecchi, but at the same time I don't mind it, as long as it is not 100% for the sake of fan service. Almost all the main characters are very likable, but like me, you would mostly want to watch this to see what amazing feats Soma will pull off next. And number 2, we have of course Face Day Night Unlimited Blade Works, the 2014 to 2015 series. Needless to say, it is the same story based off the 2004 Face Day Night visual novel or the 2006 anime. It is also very similar to the 2010 Face Day Night Unlimited Blade Works movie. This story focuses primarily on the heroine Rin Tosaka. After her father's death, Rin enters the Holy Grail War as the sole heir to the prestigious Tosaka household with her servant Archer, but she soon finds out that Shiro Emiya, a boy from her high school, has gotten himself involved in the battles, and unexpectedly saves him when he is fatally injured. Before long, Rin sets out to strike down the conspiracy surrounding the Holy Grail War, along with Shiro and his summoned servant Saber, and so, the story begins to explore the truth behind Shiro's power and the nature behind his unyielding will to become a hero. The 2010 movie was animated by Studio Dean, which was the same studio that animated the 2006 anime as well. Fate Zero, the prequel, as well as this series was animated by Ufotable, which in my opinion, and I'm sure you guys would agree, is the superior version to the Fate Stay Night adaptations, as it has remarkable animation quality. The visuals are just absolutely beautiful, with an astounding soundtrack that works absolutely perfect together. Animation was without a doubt first rate, and I can't praise it enough. I've watched all the Fate Stay Night anime series, and I don't think it's necessary to watch the Studio Dean adaptations in my opinion, as the story is pretty much the same in the Ufotable ones. In any case, I highly recommend the series at the number 2 spot, which catches Tomoya's attention. He soon discovers that the girl's name is Furukawa Nagisa, and that she exclaims things she likes in order to motivate herself. Nagisa claims they are now friends, but Tomoya walks away, passing the encounter off as nothing. However, Tomoya finds he is noticing Nagisa more and more around school. Eventually, he concedes and befriends her. Tomoya learns Nagisa has been held back a year due to a severe illness, and that her dream is to revive the school's drama club. Claiming he has nothing better to do, he decides to help